good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Barber, and we're here to discuss the modern day Odyssey, the best story of all time, one of the top selling pieces of fiction to ever be authored. One Piece! Now, reasonably, we should be talking about chapter 1190, but unfortunately, the streets are abuzz with chapter 1191. So, we're going to do a small skim of chapter 1190 just for the sake of my own agenda, okay? Because I'll be honest with all of you, there's a lot of things in this chapter not the biggest fan of, but we're going to be rushing through this to get to 91. Are you there with me? Are you here with me? All right, do you see that sub button? Do you see that like button? Do you feel like locking in? All right then. All right, I appreciate it. All right, let's get into chapter 1190. Unfortunately, I do not have the title off the top of my head, but this chapter starts with Luffy, right? Luffy is on the ground, and it's bad. It's bad. Luffy spends a good amount of these chapters just kind of trying to figure shit out. Those sword impalings, they did a number. They did a number on your boy Luffy. Gabon is doing his damnedest to protect Luffy, right? He does this whole thing where he discourages Luffy in front of Imu. This basically, kind of throwing him down to the primordial realm. And eventually getting Luffy out of Imu's way. Imu and Gabon, they have small banter about Joy Boy, and the significance of Luffy. And I really do think that this is obvious as to why Gabon is so adamant on protecting Monkey D. Luffy. There's an obvious connection to Joy Boy that Roger foretold. And Imu hearing about this, he gets a little irritated. He refers to Gabon as a I'm blanking on it. It's a term. It's some term in Japanese that the closest thing I can maybe describe is maybe like a worm or like an insect or something like that. But he's asking, how do you know these things? Why are you so knowledgeable about Joy Boy? Why are you so knowledgeable about my ex? Right? There's a lot of really big piece of information that Roger left behind for the Roger Pirates. So it makes sense that the Pirate King, right, that his legacy, it lives on through Gabon, and it's still finding a way to kind of torment Imu. I personally like that a lot, right? We kind of just get a rehashing, obviously, of Roger and his name being hidden. Gabon says, I am one of the last people that follows the actual will of Gold D. Roger. And Imu kind of winces. He's like, oh, what a horrible name. What a hateful, disgusting name. No wonder we had to strike it from the history books. And, OG One Piece fans know that. But again, I think it's just kind of... It's interesting that we are relitigating that. I think that maybe that's going to play some importance later down the line when it comes to maybe a future character or a character we haven't thought about yet. Who knows? Let's keep our eyes on that, right? I think Oda does specific shit for specific reasons. Honestly, I'm really not too on board with the whole Gabon being insanely cracked. He is putting in work against Imu. He is putting in work. He does a couple of single attacks. It's it's not like a 3,000 pound slash. It's not like an exact 101 of what Zoro does, but these attacks do kind of resemble Zoro in a very soft manner. They're just very big, insanely comedically large sword slashes. Gabon's in his bag. He's in his bag. He lets off one attack with 1,000 or 2,000 or so slashes. And I'm like, damn, you genuinely are extremely locked in. It's nothing but fairs for you, Gabon. Nothing but fairs. But the truth of the matter is that Gabon really shouldn't be this strong. He shouldn't be. Now I feel like we're gonna look up and Ben Beckman's gonna be some fucking color of the King's Conqueror. He's gonna be some Beckman's gonna have the colors of the Supreme King or some shit. I don't know. Gabon is just an old head. I would have expected to not really have that much in his tank. Yeah, sure, you're on the king. You're on the King of the Pirates crew. You're on Roger's crew. I'm not saying that Gabon shouldn't be like that, but for him to be able just to he's boxing. It's so funny. It's so funny. This is fucking hilarious. It's almost one level below what Loki was doing, and I find that kind of I don't know if troubling is the word, but Loki being on the mural and boxing Imu, Loki is on the final mural, so that makes sense. Gabon isn't. So why is Gabon so fucking cracked? He's cracked, bro. Holy shit. So Gabon, you know, he essentially figures out a way to corner Imu. Luffy, by the way, this entire time, he's just talking shit like that old piece of shit, you know, fucking talk shit about me. He doesn't know anything about me. He doesn't know anything, right? He's bad. Luffy's looking horrible. I would like to believe that Luffy is only doing all this because maybe he really, just like in terms of the story, he really doesn't understand Gear 5, but I feel like to have him do the kind of things that he did on Egghead, to have him do the kind of shit that he did in Wano, it's like, it feels like this Luffy is almost a disservice to himself. Luffy and his own actions, they aren't, you know, they aren't refined by training. You know, they aren't reinforced by older techniques. You know, like things that he has used in his past don't exactly get used in the present a lot, and I feel like maybe like even like a couple of those moves that Luffy was doing post pre-time skip, who knows if that would be effective with a Conqueror's coding, with a you know, Supreme King coding with Ryu, right, or Rio. Like there are elements in Luffy's bag that he really could be getting into right now. I don't know why not. I don't know why he isn't, but I don't know. Luffy is kind of just licking his wounds the entire time, and as Gabon, he corners Imu, he chops down the Adam Tree. You know, he apologizes to the Adam Tree. Obviously, this is a very big, important piece of Elbaf culture, something that he's grown to love and respect while his time, has been spent in Elbaf, raising Colin, you know, building a family with Ripley. So, you know, I can imagine that, you know, some giant's probably going to take issue with this action, but nonetheless, Gabon says, you know, the best thing that we can do in this instance is just to get him off of solid ground. That's what Gabon does. After this, you know, Imu lets off an attack and essentially cuts off Gabon's arm, and again, after like a multitude of attacks, you know, that were essentially left to do nothing more than stall Mu, right? Gabon really did put up a valiant effort for chapter 1190, but as we see in the next chapter, you know, it's just a different bag Mu is playing with. Like, Emo is on a completely different stratosphere than a lot of these niggas right now in front of him. So, you know, be like, genuinely, from Loki to Gabon, even to shit like, I mean, think about what Joy Boy was probably dealing with, right? If Emo was even a fraction of this strength during the Void Century, Joy Boy must have been dealing with some crazy shit. Because Joy Boy was also dealing with at least one ancient weapon placed against him, at least 2 defectors from his own crew, all of the ancient kingdoms, and then this nigga Mu? I mean, he's quite literally going 1v1 with some of the strongest caliber players we have right now, right? Rayleigh isn't here. So at the moment, all we have is Gabon, and Gabon is the closest thing to Roger. So if you really want to play the whole, the kind of situation. So if you really want to play the whole, oh, my will influences the strength of the next our future generations card, well, Gabon has worked himself into this next generation of competitors just off of this interaction alone, right? Like, we're probably going to see Gabon during the final war. He's probably going to have like an entire one-armed army thing. It's going to be fire, right? But Gabon, he is the closest thing to Roger's will we have on this island right now. So that's Roger, all right? Then we have Loki. Loki is the closest thing to any ancient giant from old that we are ever going to get. Boxed Loki, he's patched both of these niggas up. Now we get to Luffy. Luffy is quite literally the reincarnation of Joy Boy, of one of the first pirates to ever roam the seas. Arguably, the founder, maybe the creator of the One Piece. Packed up. It's a different game this nigga Mu's playing. It simply is, right? So even after losing his fitting, Imu sets off this attack, and it's kind of like a stalemate, essentially. These two stalemate, and the chapter ends with not only Luffy in the Primordial Realm, but they are joined by chunks of the Adam World, by chunks of the Adam Tree, and Gabon and Imu. Now, you're probably thinking that this chapter, or should I say, this conflict, couldn't get any wilder and any crazier. Oh boy. Oh boy, you'd be wrong. Now, when I speak about chapter 1191, I want to make something abundantly clear. I'm going to be truthful, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be unbiased. And I say this with all due respect. This nigga Luffy looks like a bum right now. Capital B. Maybe capital M. Shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. The title of this chapter is that they're still Luffy. Or, my apologies. I'm gonna be doing this all fucking review. Holy, that they're still Loki. That's the title of this chapter. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the cover for either of these chapters, but c'est la ville. It is what it is. The day will continue. Gabon put in a lot of fucking work, man. He put in a lot of work, and again, this extension of Roger of the Will of the King of the Pirates, it carried a lot. It carried a lot, and Gabon even said, you know, I'm fighting for the King of the Pirates. So like, I understand it. I really don't like it though, because now Gabon is laying there with one arm. Luffy is just like, old man, what happened? Why were you trying to doubt me earlier? I told you, just let me fight. And it's like, Luffy, brother, like, you are on your last legs. Gabon is on his last elbow. We are not looking good right now. We are looking horrible, actually. And just as the gods would have it, Imu then wakes up from his 30-second slumber, again, from falling to the primordial realm in a, you know, supposedly maybe like 13 tons of atom wood, just clonking this nigga in the dome piece, right? Wakes up, OD Conqueror's Haki. OD Conqueror's Haki. I'm talking the animals in the primordial realm are shook. I think we even see a couple of images of like nearby giants or something to that effect. There are a lot of beings that are affected by this, at least a good handful of beings that are affected by this Conqueror's Blast let off by Mu. Mu basically, you know, he wakes up and he tells himself, you know, like all of this trouble, I didn't imagine that this would be the result of coming to Elbaf. I didn't imagine like this would be the result of me not killing all of humanity when Rox really tried to wrong me that, like, you know, with like an 80 years back in my throne room. Like when Rox took that step, Imu made a subconscious choice to not kill all of humanity. Nonetheless, here we are, and Imu is now sitting here licking his wounds. I'm not bullshitting. Gabon put in so much work on this nigga Mu. I'm not even like, and again, like one level below what Loki was doing. So maybe Loki downscale is honestly not that insane. Maybe it's really not that crazy. Maybe Mu is just, you know what's so funny? It's so funny, right? I was thinking about this analogy, and I think this is a really like apt analogy. Imu is like the nigga who went to prison and he fought like 10 different niggas, 6 different niggas in prison. But that was 18 years ago, and now Unk's washed. And now all he has is prison stories about when he used to fight niggas. When he had to fight 2 niggas at one time. When niggas tried to check him on the yard. Like, that's all he got. Unk is washed. Unk is washed as fuck. Brother, Emo is out here listening to Outstanding, the 12-inch remix. The Shaka Khan feature special edition. Like, we are in a different level of Unk and Unk and nephew behavior right now. Emo gets packed up by Loki, and this isn't to discourage Loki. I'd really like to believe that there's another level to Loki we haven't seen yet due to his own arrogance and hubris. So maybe even him having that much of a showing against Emu, maybe that wasn't the best choice. Maybe, and I'm just kind of spitballing here. Look at the snowball, it's rolling down the mountain, right? And even to the effect of Emu punking, because he did eventually punk in little nigga Gabon. Gabon's off the playing field. He's not doing anything else for the rest of this arc. But Gabon being able to bump chest with this nigga Emu for a second, I'm just like, huh? That is now 2 instances of people who I feel like aren't really at their full potential, really giving you work. Nigga, are you Charlie Wilson? Is this the Gap Band? Like, nigga, I really do think that Emu is washed in terms of One Piece. Again, obviously insanely cracked, right? But it's the prison yard analogy. He went away, and in the void, during the void century, tough ass nigga, hard as nails. Hey, hard, tough as nails, but was able to, take down Joy Boy and any one of his merry little, ne'er-do-wellers that tried to cost Emu and the ancient kingdom their victory, right? That was 800 years ago. Now you got a nigga with no devil fruit abilities, no insane bag for real. Like, we're not seeing Rio, but we're not seeing like some, like, we got Conqueror's Haki. That's great. Oh, and he could also do like the mass Conqueror's Haki thing that Roger and Rox did, or my apologies, that Roger and Garp did against Rox on God Valley, right? That's it. And now I'm supposed to believe that if Zoro, if Mihawk, if any other swordsman really wants to lock in against the world government one of these days, they just have to use supreme mass Haki. Like, is that what it's called? Like focused mass? I don't know. But as I've stated, Emu is licking his wounds. He looks bad, man. Emu looks fucking bad. Emu Emu looks like he was a good like 6 attacks, maybe like 3 or so attacks away from being just where Luffy is, just huffing and puffing, just leaking shit, trying to heal, talking shit to people. Like, it's like, bro, Emu really gets the shit smacked out of him for a good couple of chapters, because again, he just came off fighting Loki. Him and Loki boxed for what, like a straight hour? The straight hour or fucking hour and a half of just straight hands. No wavering from either side. So Emu has definitely been getting some solid work this entire arc, which is pretty crazy. But you know, as Gabon is laying there with, you know, half of his arm, you know, just kind of off in the wind, you know, he acknowledges that the closest thing you could call Emu is probably a god. And it's really funny because for him to make this assertion after again putting hands, feet, and slashes on this nigga Emu, kind of tough. Kind of tough. Now, I will say that we have to take these translations with a bit of a grain of salt. These is not, you know, this isn't like the exact translation. This is translation to what I'm aware of. So bear with your boy. Again, Luffy, you know, he's sitting there. He's seen better days. Honestly, he looks fucking horrible. He's kind of just barking at Gabon, saying, you know, like we should have, you know, found a way to, you know, escape, or we should have found a way to not be trapped essentially in the primordial realm with both of us heavily injured like this. And you know, Gabon says it, you know, as I stated in the last chapter review, you are not strong enough. You're useless right now. You are of no use to this battle, and you cannot help me in any actual facet whatsoever. You can't. And god damn it, Gabon was right, all right? Because Emu, he pops up, he basically has like a fucking like a Frieza second form situation going on. He's huge. He looks like he just did lat presses for like a good month. No breaks, no water, no creatine, just straight fucking gains, straight work. He looks insane. Emu, he pops up, and again, I guess the idea is he wants to finish the job with Gabon, because everybody, and I do mean everybody, sees how useless and how ineffective Luffy would be in any kind of combat right now, right? Or ineffective, my apologies, how ineffective Luffy would be in any type of combat right now. So, as Luffy charges, you know, to stop Gabon's death, again, it looks horrible. Like, he literally is like the Naruto! It's bad. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Gabon's honestly on pack watch. You know, he's basically saying his goodbyes. His life is flashing before his eyes as a 7-foot fucking Lunarian who might not be a Lunarian, maybe like a descendant of the, I don't fucking know. He just comes charging at him. No fucks given at all. And Haruden makes a pretty insane fucking save. He lets off, I would just call it a strong right for now. He calls it something specific. It's a fucking strong right. Come on. And again, you blow my mind. Like, this nigga Emu gets sent flying from Haruden, and I'm like, ooh, Oda did not like those Loki is stronger than Zoro comments. He did not like that, because the way Emu was just getting packed up by any Joe Schmo on that island is fucking hilarious. I wouldn't be surprised if Goldberg just hits him with the sword in the next couple of chapters. Just bonk. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be shocked. Emu, he's laying in this massive crater. Again, he gets sent flying like a good, 25 meters plus. And as he's laying in this crater, he lets off 2 omens, right? Or maybe 2 stigmas, whatever you like to call them. And again, Haruden, big fucking save. He blocks him. Like, he blocks him. It's impressive. Like, Haruden is actually extremely fucking impressive, right? His, you know, Emu's pride is at an all-time fucking low. And, you know, the truth be told, I think that this is, again, the right direction that we would want to take for Emu. You know, we have to remember that Emu, eventually, he's either going to get back to Maurice-Wall and see Blackbeard, or Emu just might get packed up here. Because if he wins, he goes back to Maurice-Wall and he sees Blackbeard or Dragon, whoever the fuck is terrorizing Maurice-Wall. Because again, the you know, the razing and the, you know, the burning down of the Maurice-Wall you know, halls, it's happening. Like, Maurice-Wall is burning as we speak, right? So either he wins, he goes back to that, he loses, he goes back to that, or just gets packed up here. There isn't a good scenario for Emu right now. So him kind of being humbled, the way he's being humbled, and him maybe, just maybe, being forced to pull like some insane Eldritch shit where he's like, all right, I have to send myself into the atmosphere. I have to send my essence out into the atmosphere, and it has to come back for the final war because I'm too weak right now. I don't know what the fuck Emu could do, but he's gotten packed up by Gabon, an unfocused, unfully potentially tapped, an unfocused, not fully tapped when it comes to potential Loki, and now Haruden. He is now getting packed up by 3 of these niggas. Also, Luffy, you couldn't do half of the damage Haruden could do? Like, nigga, come on. It's crazy, right? So after Haruden blocks this attack, they devise a plan. You know, the best thing that they should do right now is to run. Right? Haruden has just gotten hit with a massive bomb. Imu didn't take that shit sweetly. You know, he blocked the first attack. That was cute. Now block this double donkey dick attack, you big bitch ass nigga. That's basically what Imu was saying to this nigga, Haruden. So, again, as we've stated, the plan was to run before Haruden got there. The plan is now to run after Haruden has got there. But, you know, Haruden's standing his ground. You know, Haruden's not playing that shit. Haruden's entire idea of what it means to be a warrior is to stand your ground and to never waver, even in the face of death. Very brave, but very, very stupid. And Gabon lets him know that. And Gabon seems to be the only person, again, 80-year-old man, the potential to impregnate a 90-foot giant seems to be the most logical sense. Seems to be the most logical, sense-based person in this entire arc right now. So, as we've stated, this entire arc right now, we move towards, the climax, or should I say the finale of this chapter, and Imu's rushing towards, again, shit is not sweet at all, and Haruden says, it's fine, I've taken a big attack, and it's alright, because even if I fall, we still have Loki, right? There's always still Loki, and Loki, right? And again, Haruden says looked great this chapter, but Loki, he comes over, he big brother Mogs, and Haruden's like, huh? My brother? Well, why is he here? And it's obvious, that Loki's here to save the day. Luffy, like the bushy-tailed, bright-eyed young sailor he is, he sees Loki, perks right up because his rival is in the immediate area, and it's time for him to lock the fuck in. He immediately heals after like 3 chapters. I'm not even joking, of him just being like, I don't know what to do. Motherfucker, make yourself a black hole. Do so. You have the Toon Force. All right. Do something, Luffy. Fight back. God damn it. Right? So, as stated, Luffy is, fully healed. And what basically happens after is a Haku sovereignty, right? A Haku sovereignty that is titled the 3 Generals Haku Sovereignty. Gabon kind of sits back in amazement going like, what the fuck is up with these guys? Why is Luffy healed all of a sudden? Where did Loki come from? Why is Haruden so fucking stupid? And, it's funny because I think that, again, if you want to just like look at the lineage of everything, right? Luffy, the closest thing that you have to Joy Boy. Haruden, the closest thing that you have to King Harold. And then Loki, the closest thing you have to the ancient giants, right? I think it's pretty obvious that this is exactly what Rox wanted once upon a time, right? He wanted the potential and the full capabilities of the Gum Gum, or at least the powers of a Joy Boy, somebody who could rival Davy Jones, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? The full, political power and the full political backing of Elbaf through Haruden, through Harold, right? And Loki, the potential and the bloodline of the ancient giants being used to their fullest potential against the world government. This is, this is Harold's dream encapsulated. Honestly, maybe more specifically, this might be Ida's dream, more specifically, because think about what Ida was all about. It was loving and caring for one another, giant or human. It was the idea that giants have the power to not only create, but destroy the old narratives and the harmful narratives placed against them. And you can make an argument that Ida's worldview and how that influenced Harold kind of led them to this very vulnerable place in their history. But Ida's message of fighting against what evil is in this world, that is a direct counter and antithesis to the world government. So, again, this Haku sovereignty, very, very solid. Story-wise, massive fucking fan of it. I like the idea that Imu is going to at least have to try to like more or less tried to deal with a somewhat focused Luffy. I like to think that this, the 2 chapters of just berating from Gabon is going to wake this nigga up a little bit, but it's Luffy, so it really might not. A couple things I'll say before the chapter ends. We have to remember that Imu may be the main villain, but he may not be the end villain, in that he has to end this chapter, like, my apologies, he has to exit this arc somehow. Now, is it possible that he transfers into the room of the Gorosei and the Gorosei cannibalize this nigga, right? Maybe. Is it possible he flashes back into the throne room and we hear that's possible, right? Is it possible that Imu somehow he wins and he flies off to start the next arc on the next island where Luffy has to catch up, right? All of these things are very possible. The main objective that I'm getting to right now is that Imu has to have some kind of finale. So don't think that he's just gonna get out of here like scot-free. He's not going to get out of here scot-free. We still have to deal with Marijois. Hypothetically, Dragon is on the move. We already know that there are cracks forming in the Marines with Kobe and Sword and everything happening with Garp. Like, there is a lot riding on this next arc, or at least everything outside of Elbaf. So, whatever happens to Imu after this, I think it's going to be fitting. I truthfully think whatever happens after this, whatever he has to deal with after all this damage and all this repressed trauma coming back up to the forefront, I think it's going to play a very big part in our next arc, whether that be through him directly or through a proxy of Mu. All right, that was everything that your boy had. Apparently, there's going to be a chapter break until September 7th, and y'all know I wasn't going to keep y'all waiting for that long, right? Come on. Hey, it's me. Come on, all right? That was everything that your boy had for chapter 1190 and chapter 1191, One Piece. All right, my fucking favorite story of all time. I'm loving everything we're getting from this arc. Hopefully, this arc can go on for at least another 20 or so chapters, because it's actually very good. Very, very good. And I really do want these endings to mean something. I want them to have a little bit of meat on their bones, all right? I don't want no paper-thin, paper-mache fucking stories, even though it is a manga book, okay? I do have a lot of other stuff going up for the rest of the week, all right? Not to exclude my Dynamite review, but a little bit of SmackDown, a little bit of TNA, maybe even a little bit of Ring of Honor. Who knows what I might do? All right? Hope all of you stay hydrated, stay healthy, however you catch this, whenever you catch this, and as I always say, all right, you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.